we'll go ahead and move on. We're going to talk about the Giants versus the Lions because that was a disgusting game. That game made me angry because I like the Giants. They're not my team, but I like the Giants. They're one of my teams. I'm one of those guys that likes a lot of teams. Giants are one of them. I think that Daniel Jones, great quarterback. People like to shit on him. He hasn't thrown an interception in like 9 weeks up until yesterday, and he threw two. One of them by Aiden Hutchinson, who is a lock for Defensive Rookie of the Year because he's just a monster. So you got him, you got Saquon Barkley, you got no receiving core, but you got a lockdown defense, and you got big old Brian Daboll at coach. Giants, I love them, but they got destroyed by the Lions. And this is a lot because the Lions, worst team in the league. Giants at one point, like, hey, maybe they're the best team in the league because they were like 8-1 at one point. You know, it's like these cats were really good. Some of the best in the league. They had like the second best record in the entire NFL behind the Eagles at one point. So to lose to the Lions is big. The Lions are now on a win streak, 3 wins in a row. Are the Lions going to snag an NFC wildcard playoff spot?
I don't think that. I think this is more a flash in the pan, but they are right now the proud owners of the longest win streak in the NFL. So those words could come back to bite me. We'll see. We'll see if I was right or not. But I think this is more of them playing well in the moment rather than something that's going to be long-term sustainable, because I just don't see them pulling off these types of wins against, let's see, who's on the rest of their schedule.
They got the Bills, the Jags, Vikings, Jets, Panthers, Bears, and Packers. Here's the thing. I don't know how many more wins they need, but they can't lose any more games. Maybe they could lose against the Bills.
Well, that's the thing. It's like the NFC is so weak this year. It feels like outside of the NFC East that like they don't really need to win that many. It feels like they've beaten the Packers, the Bears, and the Giants, which I mean whatever. But yeah, they'll probably lose to the Bills. But the Jaguars, winnable game. The Vikings is, I'm gonna say, a coin flip because it's a divisional game. The Vikings are struggling right now, and the Lions are hot. So I don't think they're going to win, but I mean, if the spread is good, I might pick the Lions. The Jets, winnable game because Zach Wilson's a bum, which we're going to get into next. Panthers, winnable game. Bears, winnable game. Packers, winnable game. So, I mean, they have to win them all, but it's possible. And I'm not a Lions fan, but I love MCDC Motor City Dan Campbell. You can't hate him. He's a fantastic man. Everyone loves NCDC. I would love for them to clinch one of them wildcard spots. I would be all for it. I'd love to see the Lions in the playoffs with Jared Goff because I also like Jared Goff. I think the Rams did him dirty. I think Matt Stafford was definitely an upgrade for the Rams, and they didn't make a bad pick because they went and won a freaking Super Bowl. But I think Jared Goff got too much hate for that failure. He was injured during the second half of that season, 2 seasons ago, whenever they lost the playoffs. He had a broken thumb and was playing in a playoff game with it and still put up a good fight. Jared Goff brought him to a Super Bowl, 2 years prior to that. So I think it's a lot of hate. If he can go get the playoffs with the Lions, I mean, I think that's just, that shows that he still deserves a starting job. Shows that Motor City Dan Campbell knows what he's doing. Because I like MCDC. I don't want him to lose his job, but at some point, if you lose enough, even if everyone loves you, you gotta step down. So I think the Lions need to go on a tear here and at least be in the wild card conversation. I hope they make a spot, but I hope they're at least in the conversation. If not.
Yeah, I just don't see them doing too hot against the Bills, especially with Jeff Okudah down right now. They don't have anyone who can lock down Diggs, and the passing game with the Bills is too good to not have your top cornerback. So I don't see them winning that. I don't see them winning against the Vikings either.
Yeah, so let's say let's say they lose both of those and they win everything else. They're 9-8. Let's say they do manage to beat one of those two. They're 10-7. I think 9-8 is probably good enough to go in the NFC this year.
Here's the thing. If the Lions play against the Vikings and the Bills smart, just chunk yardage, strong runs with Jamal Swift and Justin Jackson for chunk yardage, run down the clock, give them just all offense, and then use the defense to stall out as much time as possible, because they have a solid offense. Unfortunately, their defense isn't as good. But if they're able to pull that off and shave down the clock and just go all ham, I think they have a chance at beating the other teams. Now, I'm not saying it's a higher probability or anything, but they can pull it off.
Yeah.
It is possible.
If the spread is thick, I'm picking the Lions on that one because, like you said, if they can get their offense going and then control the game from a time perspective, they can win that thing because the Bills are going to score. But if the Lions can score and control the clock, then that's all they need. Because, like you said, they can run the ball a lot, keep the ball inbounds to run it out. They can do all these things. If they can get that going and do it successfully, they have a chance. Once again, I would bet my bank account that they lose for those games, but it's not impossible. I mean, I've seen crazier things happen, so it is possible. But